All right, we are live. Tap in Birdie, Ryder Cup Recap. I'm here with fellow Long Islander, fellow Bethpage lover, fellow golf superstar. I'm not a golf superstar, but PJ is.
I don't know, man.
Produce.
We were hanging outside that first grandstand, and people were picking you out before
I
anything.
I don't know. I don't know if that truly happened, but a part of one of the best golf podcasts, Shotgun Start Friday, doing incredible stuff over there. So I'm happy that we can jive and kind of veg on what happened in our backyard this week.
Yeah, it was a tough week to say that you're a Bethpage patron and Long Islander. I think so. I'm happy that we get to commiserate. I know we've commiserated enough already about it just between the two of us, but I'm glad we get a public platform to do that on now.
Yeah, it's almost a bit interesting because the last time we talked, words were said about let's just make sure it's not worse than 19-9. Like that is the goal today, is for it to not be worse than 19-9. We both went our separate ways. And then apparently this was a close Ryder Cup and US only lost by 2, which is truly one of the most unfathomable things to actually happen.
Yeah.
But somehow vibes couldn't have been lower when we were together. There was a lot of blue on the board. They got their butts kicked the first 4 sessions, and suddenly a lot of things changed. So I want to ask you a very simple question. Do you feel better or worse about this Ryder Cup, given that the final score was 15-13 versus 16-12?
I don't know if my opinion really changes. I think those first 2 days were just horrific. I appreciate the whole stay in the fight, play to the whistle narrative that everybody was giving on Sunday night. That was clearly the message from Keegan, and you've seen that in social media posts from all the guys coming out in the last couple of days. Play to the whistle seemed like the overwhelming message, and I appreciated it. I wouldn't say Justin Thomas played his best, but that's a guy that you have depended on for a long time here, and he secured his point. Cam Young secured his point. Even guys further down the board, Scotty had a horrendous week, stayed in the fight as best he could, and took down Rory. I think those first 2 days were just so embarrassing from a crowd standpoint, from an American golf standpoint, from
A Bethpage
a
standpoint.
setup standpoint, that like I just as a Long Islander who really wanted to be like proud of this event, I still have a sour taste in my mouth. Maybe as we get further away that'll get better, but like I'm still kind of just like embarrassed by the whole thing.
Yeah, it's not great. And I think that me and you are two reasonable people. And I think that going into this event, we had a lot of concerns. Like we knew what it was like at the 2019 PGA. We know what it's like on Long Island. And it was abundantly clear when the PGA of America and the Ryder Cup is promoting this New York fans are the best in the world. It's
Biggest Ryder Cup ever.
like they're really not. Like they're truly not. And there's a lot of different things to talk about. And there's a lot of things to be upset about. But I want to talk about the golf and the teams. I think to start, I think that's like kind of the best way to start with all of this, because I think the American team and Keegan did the, straightforward things right leading into this. They, in my opinion, we're taking in a vacuum, picked the right guys. Now you could say Patrick Reed and Dustin Johnson and Brooks should have been on the team for some unknown reason,
Whatever.
but they were never in a million years being picked. So the vacuum picks were good. He made the right decision not to captain. He made the 6 correct picks at the time. He made them play the Pro Core and not come in loose. And then as the week went on, I kind of got a little bit of a sour feeling. Like making it a point to motivate these guys somehow with the Nassau Players Club, who nobody likes.
Horrific from day one, from second one, 7:30 a.m. on Monday. Horrific.
Like that just, I don't understand how that's motivating at all in any sense of the world. Like the 9/11, the firefighter, like I'm okay with all of that. And then you juxtapose that with the Europeans and that video that came out Tuesday morning, a true where were you moment, talking about the 4 past Ryder Cup European teams that have won on away soil and replicating their jerseys and making a point to say, you know, it's been done before because we've been kind of in a momentum of it's so hard to win an away Ryder Cup. But their biggest message was we've done it before. We have this history and we're going to respect that. And once those two things came out, it was like, like that checks out, honestly, like how to motivate people. Like that really checks out. And I think it was Europe one up at that point.
Yeah. I mean, that video, even getting 35 of the 37, they got everybody living in that video. They, went out and got all the live guys. Like, no matter what issues that they may or may not have with the DP World Tour or, Ryder Cup Europe not wishing Ian Poulter and Sergio happy birthdays 5 years ago or whatever it was, like everybody played toward the common goal for this team, these 10 guys that had not won on the road, to make 37-47. And then you juxtapose that with that American side. I don't know what happened. Sam Burns shows up at his hunting gear at 7:30 in the morning. Everybody else is all in uniform. Some of the faces in that video, Xander looks like he's half asleep as they listen to the national anthem. You have the whole Nassau Players Club thing, which I don't know if Keegan didn't, I would assume Keegan didn't know the backstory to that, but that's like a slap in the face kind of to anybody on Long Island that actually knows that story.
Like it's a public course and you're like highlighting a private aspect of it. Like I don't get that. I'm not there.
And I again, like it's a public course. I think it's great that the Ryder Cup. I think it's great that the USGA has previously come here. I think it's great that the PGA of America has continued the relationship to this public course. I think that's good for everybody, whether it's on Long Island or not. I think having venues that are publicly accessible on tour is a good thing. And I want to highlight that, not because it's a place that means a lot to us. It should mean a lot to anybody. But that was a horrendous way to start the week. And that all happened before I even went out there and walked the course on Monday. And I'm up by the 12th green, 13th green. I'm walking in the rough and I go, oh, this is a different golf course. This isn't right at all.
Yeah. And then honestly, the moment this is not a bit. And this is not revisionist history. You could check the timestamps. Right after the opening ceremonies, I was like, I'm kind of worried about this American team. And the other reason I was worried, which is so funny, and I don't know why people love insights from the grounds, but I'm in the Long Island Junkies group. Which is a good group. Like I'm happy to be a part of it. Like it was big Ryder Cup this week. Like sometimes you could get tee times. I've met some good people from there. Like regardless, and someone was just like talking about the Ryder Cup, and he's like talking about the good news. He's like the bad news. He's like we're gonna get our doors blown off unless something changes. The Europeans looked unbelievably dialed in the practice rounds. They were sticking every single shot, and the Americans looked really sloppy. And then you add that on with Keegan Bradley telling the story about Brookline and saying that Justin Rose hit the winning putt in 1999 at Brookline. I was like, dude, like, how can you not get that right? Like, and that was very fitting and very nice foreshadowing, talking about Justin Rose holding putts on the Wednesday opening ceremony.
Yeah, it was. I listen. Like public speaking is hard. It's not like it's a tough thing to do, especially when you don't do it before. I don't know if that was necessarily as bad as Zach getting up there and giving like a buongiorno in his broken Italian in Rome. We just have a habit of embarrassing ourselves at these things. But yeah, it's like you you can tell the difference. I think the pay thing was obviously hammered early in the week by the European side. That to me was like kind of whatever. Like I mean, full
it's not why they lost
transparency.
the Ryder Cup. Not why
No,
they lost the Ryder Cup.
no, like full transparency. Like I thought Europe was winning for the last 2 years. Like I had bet that. I thank God they covered 1.5. I was sweating it late Sunday, just like being
That's
like,
hilarious.
oh my God, how is this even up for debate at this point? Like I completely expected Europe to win the entire time, and only became more confident in that in Monday through Thursday. Every incremental thing that just kept on stacking and stacking and stacking. Thursday, weather's bad, rain. Europe says we're going out there. We're going off one at 11 o'clock, hell or high water. Whatever happens, happens. And the American side panics. They go, oh, we weren't going to do anything today. The weather's bad. Maybe we'll go to the range. Maybe we'll go out there. They ended up just playing the inside loop because they understood.
So they did. So the Americans played on Thursday.
They played the inside loop. That's it. They didn't go across the street, and they did it pretty late. Like maybe they went out like 1:30.
Like they played 1:15.
1:15 through 18. Yeah. Because whatever. And I was walking with the Europeans because they went out to actually like play golf. So by the time I got across the street again, they were pretty much only playing in their alternate shot pairings. Like JT and Bryson were just playing one ball. Like it wasn't. If you paid however much money, Thursday, from my understanding, was the most expensive practice day because you were supposed to get the opening ceremony that got rained out and pushed to Wednesday. So if you paid $500 or whatever it was to see the Americans, you didn't really get that. And
because they went out late.
They went out late. The weather's bad. Yeah. They were only playing one ball. So like if you wanted to see Bryson hit drives, like you weren't getting all of that. I think Thursday was like really the reddest possible flag that we were making jokes all week. Like, you know, Europe is on a charm offensive, much more personable with the fans. Rory and Shane and Rosie were signing every autograph they asked for, taking pictures. They tried to like get people into it. And the Americans were pretty typical. Not saying that they didn't sign autographs. Plenty of guys did. They signed after the rounds, but not signing, not taking photos in between holes, not interacting with the crowd. Rory was in a great mood, like early in the week, interacting with people. Justin Rose was soaking it all in, knowing that this may or may not be his last one. And the Americans were just kind of business as usual. And I think that all just compounded on each other, resulting in, blitzed Friday morning.
Yeah, I was obviously up Friday morning. They and I know NLU was talking about it. Like they kind of went just vibes with JT and Bryson, which I think if you look back as the week went on, I don't think Bryson and JT are a bad alternate shot pairing at all. I really don't. And like with the way they played during the week, like they should have played better that morning. JT just straight up did not have it that Friday morning. He was really bad. I very much look back on 7 where Bryson, it's a great drive. JT is like 190 in, perfect, middle of the fairway, and Rahm and Hatton are like in the right trees, like with the stick on the ball.
That Hatton shot may have been the shot of the week. I mean, genuinely.
with the Rahm shot, the hole before it. Like, they lost 4-3, so it's not kind of, it's not, it was right there. But they had the momentum in that match early, and Rahm and Hatton were hitting it all over the place, and they just could not ham and egg it together. Like, they literally should have won 6. They should have won 7,
Yep.
or at least tied it. And then once they were tied and 1 down, the match just got completely away from them. Fitz and Aberg were really good. Friday morning.
Fitz was unbelievable. I gained such an appreciation for Matthew Fitzpatrick over the course of the week. Obviously, like, struggled immensely to start
a
the
guy
year.
that wasn't on the team this spring.
No, not even close. He was terrible. He got down to like 70 in the world or something like that.
Yeah.
Like, he was awful. And then battled, did everything that Luke Donald said he had to do. Went and played overseas. Found his game. And I was saying to James Colgan from golf.com on the first tee, I can't remember if it was Friday or Saturday, but we were talking about just everything, and I gained a big appreciation for Fitz this week. Obviously, like, he got made fun of on Sunday by Rory for doing his little, like, notes that everybody knows he does in the full swings and everything, and you know, show up to majors, big tournaments. Like, Matthew Fitzpatrick is kind of an afterthought, not somebody I'm really focusing on, not somebody that, you know, I'm going out to watch, especially close. But when there's only 24 guys and you're kind of watching everybody especially close, like, I gained a real appreciation for kind of just the grind and the effort he put in to make the team. And I was really happy to see that kind of borne out. Obviously, he ran out of gas against Bryson in some of the best golf anybody played all week on Sunday. But Matthew Fitzpatrick, for a guy who was 1-7 coming into this and everybody loved to make fun of, was unbelievable.
Like, and that's where, and I pointed it out, like I did many things this week. I've never tweeted so much in my life, but we did good numbies. If Elon doesn't send me a huge check next Friday, I will fucking storm the Capitol. But regardless, and the biggest thing to me, they got their middle guys to show up and contribute. Like, no one didn't show up other than Rasmus, and he played 2 matches, and it couldn't have mattered any fucking less. They got their fringe guys to show up and have big moments. And like, I know I said it before, but like, the guy wasn't on the team in the spring and just trends all summer really well, and then shows up at Bethpage and plays unbelievable. It's just like, yeah, dude, like, I don't really know what the U.S. was supposed to do. We've had some time removed from it. I think that people, your buddy Garrett put out a nice thing about data golf and the data and the pairings. Where are you a couple days removed from the Harris-Collin pairing? Because again, are JJ, Sam Burns, like, they're better 4-ball players. So I don't necessarily know what pairing they could have put out that was better, that also wouldn't have really hurt their 4-ball chances when everyone really has to play on the first day. I wouldn't have done it twice. Like, that, first and foremost. And I think the closeness, in a way, almost makes it worse. Like, if it was 16-12 or some, like, normal kind of Ryder Cup score, 17-11, like 16.5, like somewhere in there, that is like a normal, justifiable score. You didn't get completely blown out, but it wasn't tight. It was a decisive victory. I feel like everything would kind of level out and plateau, but you have the high side of, oh my God, they got killed. Like, if it was 19-9, if they got to 20, like, it was certainly trending for a little while, like, that would have been catastrophic. But at the same time, I don't know that anybody has necessarily taken the catastrophic end that we're currently on, that, you had this miracle to make it close, and that's like a feel-good moment for everybody. It left a positive taste in everybody's mouth. But for me, I was just, like, immediately more pissed off that, like, oh my God! I asked you off the jump. I asked if it's worse. If you didn't
go with Harris Morikawa for a second time, like, then could we be at 14-14 currently? Yeah. Like, there are so many. The minor decisions should get examined so much more now that this was close, whether it took a miracle or not to get here. Yeah, and that's where kind of I was on Friday morning. Is just like. And I said this all week,
Europe just has better foursome pairings. I don't care who the captain is. They have way more established foursome pairings. The U.S. had one established foursomes pairing, and they haven't even been that good. They lost both their matches in Rome. They haven't done well in the President's Cup, and they won. Mm-hmm. But Scotty and Henley were not anything established. They played against fucking Mackenzie Hughes. Like, they didn't even win one of their all-shot matches. And then you basically got Bryson and JT, which I think was a good pairing. I really have no issue with it at all. JT just sucked. And then I had no clue who the last pairing would be. And I think JJ and Griffin's golf ball is tough. And I think JJ not playing all shot was a mistake. But at the end of the day, he won his 4-ball match in the afternoon. So it's tough because I don't know what combination foursomes 4-ball would have worked out for the U.S. side to really set them up for success.
I don't know either, but Andy kept making the point all week that, you look at maybe the totality of the work, like, and it's even less jarring for JJ Spawn because he was, like, by any metric, one of the best players in the world this year. Like, he was unbelievable, tee to green. Whereas, like, Cam, he was terrible to start the year when he clearly didn't have his swing. But if you take any metric of the last, 4 or 5 months, he's up there in that first tier. Like, those guys, like, how does JJ Spawn not play 4 times? Like, the guy won the U.S. Open. He lost 2 playoff events.
Second in points.
He's top 10 player, tee to green. Like, if all of that is true, if you have your nonsense qualifying system, but it's the qualifying system nonetheless, he was literally second. Like, you just got to give that guy the ball. Like, I don't know how else to say it, right?
Yeah. I agree, and I don't know what went into that decision. And it's tough. It is tough. But I just think and I said this all week, like, they are just so much better at all shot, and I don't know how you get around Rom Hatton.
Getting around Rom Hatton and Rory Fleetwood is impossible. It's
like, you need everything to break right to be 2-2.
Yeah.
Which would have been a win, but I thought they would play better in the 4-ball. And I was disappointed in Cantlay this week. I fought really hard for him to be on the team. I still think he should have been on the team. I don't think anyone would have been better on the team. He had good moments, but I have to say, him and Burns not winning that match against Rory and Lowry Friday afternoon was bad. They had all the momentum. Cantlay was making putts, and then he sticks it on 14 to 3 feet above the hole. Everyone putts out. He takes a million years over it and lips out, and they wind up having the match. And if they could have been 2-2 in the afternoon there, like, that really would have changed a lot. And that's where those points really come into play. I tweeted it out, and there's no way to know if Europe is up 3 going into Sunday. Does that result happen on Sunday singles?
I don't know. Like, you look down the line, it's like so many of the Euro guys were just gassed. They just, like, didn't have it, which would not have changed, right? Like, Rory and Rahm were not getting this burst of energy out of nowhere. Like, they were still playing all 5. I think that's partially what you saw Cantlay run into for a guy like, I would say from a European standpoint, like, Ludwig did not have it this week. He was pretty bad, and he blitzed Patrick Cantlay, who is, like, your stalwart. And I think that's where you see the effect of the 5 matches.
And Xander trounced Rahm. Yeah. Like, it was
Rory Scotty was not good. Like, that, not up to the standard that we should have for the 2 of them, and I think you're exhausted. So that is something I think to look at into the future. Like, who are you pushing for 5? How many are you pushing for 5? If you told me, like, Thursday morning that Patrick Cantlay's going 5, I would have been surprised for sure. I
would have been too. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, I didn't have that necessarily on the bingo card. I would have played maybe Cam 5 ahead of Patrick Cantlay. Or
the Cam, it's like if I asked you before the week, Cam plays 4 times, you would have been like, all right.
Yeah, and I would have said 3-1, and we got it. Like, I mean,
exact score parlay, like
top U.S. point scorer Patrick Cantlay. Just how we drew it up.
Were you rooting against Xander?
I wouldn't say rooting against, but I definitely was aware of the situation.
Yeah.
I was looking at my accounts and knowing what a split would do and knowing what an outright payment would do on top U.S. point scorer Cameron Young. So I was monitoring the situation for sure.
Did you have any like top rookie or top captain's pick on it?
Yeah, I had both.
You just had him every way.
I had him every way, and I had Tommy every way. So at least I got that one.
Sharp, dude.
Yeah.
Sharp.
Yeah.
Shotgun Start Gambling Pod. I mean, what is there to say? And then, I think everyone, like Keegan Poo-Poo in the potty, put out Cam Young and alt shot Saturday morning, like true, like just you did the right thing. There, honestly, English and Morikawa battled late. Like they were not terrible. I don't know what the data says, but they battled late, and like I'll put some respect on their name. But yeah, it is kind of like I don't know how you put them out again, but I think their hands were tied because Ben Griffin and Sam Burns were awful Friday afternoon, so they didn't have that many options, which is tough. And I think you look back on why U.S. lost this Ryder Cup. I've said it many times. The roll guys showed up for Europe. The roll guys did not show up for the USA. Like Ben Griffin and Sam Burns just having an awful week.
But even like you look at the roll guys, like who they are, and it's like the difference between. And I like Sam Burns as a player. The difference between Ludwig and Sam Burns is like, what are we even doing? Tyrrell Hatton and Ben Griffin. Like, come on. Like even Sepp Straka, who had obviously a ton going on at the end of the year and lost his form, but won twice this year, including a signature event. Like, if that's your 11th guy, like, okay, and we're scrounging up like, can Sam Burns make a couple putts over here? Like, that's a tough spot to be in.
Yeah, I'm with you. Like I definitely agree, and I think there were questions marks about Shane and Sepp going into this thing that were totally right, like totally rightful, and they just ham and egged it, and like they had better pairings for them. Like they put their 2 worst players minus Rasmus with their best 2 players. They put Ron with Sepp, and they put Shane with Rory, and like they just ham and egged it, and they had their moments and they won their matches. And
and they both they made the putts that they had to make. I don't think either of them played well per se, but they when they had to show up, they did, and that's the benefit of playing your own ball with 2 of the 4 best players in the world.
I would say the most backbreaking partner match of this Ryder Cup was Scheffler Russ against McIntyre Hovland. That really just let the wind out of the sails on Saturday morning when everybody was drinking at 9 a.m. That was like the day to go party. That's always the worst day at golf tournaments. For them to not win that match against Bob and Hovland, who were not playing well, like did not have their stuff, was really, really disappointing. And I think if you put the odds together of Bob making that downhiller on 15, and them 2-putting from 90 feet on 17, like that's really tough, man. Like that's really tough to kind of, turn around from. And those were just such unbelievably massive putts by both of them. And like, it's just incredible that they were able to make them with all the stuff they dealt with that week. And then the cherry on top was Scheffler's approach into 18.
Still
Friday
for the
morning,
life of
Saturday.
Me. Yeah. For the life of me, don't know how that happened. I walked the whole way with that match. So I feel like I have some decent insight on that. The Euros, Bob and Hovland, like they're kind of hitting it all over the yard, but I wouldn't say they played necessarily poorly. They were 5 under on the front. Like they got it in the
alt
hole.
shot.
Yeah, they were good. Like they hung around, even though they were driving it kind of all over the place. They scrambled like a lot, and it was when it came down to it. Hovland flubs that chip, and then Bob makes it downhill on 15.
Also, 12. Scheffler finally hits a good iron shot, TIB. Hovland goes next from the rough and puts it to 4 feet, and Bob made it. That was backbreaking as well.
Yeah, Hovland hits the crappy putt from the rough, leaves whatever it was, like 9 feet downhill.
Down the hill.
That is a tough putt, and Bob just got up, drained it. Bob hits the best drive he had all day on 16, and it's like, all right, they're feeling themselves a little bit here now. Scheffler hits it to what? 5 feet, 6 feet.
I don't remember
17?
what happened on 16. I don't even remember.
I think they both made par. I don't remember.
I don't think anything happened on 16, right?
No.
It was like 12 feet.
But
Maybe,
I remember that
17.
Bob's drive on 16 was like the cleanest contact anybody in that match made all day. And because I turned around to somebody and I was like, that ball was pissed on, and they are feeling it now. And you could feel the momentum going. Then they get to 17, and Scheffler sticks it to 6 feet or whatever. Henley misses again, a precursor of things to come, and you get it up on 18, and you think,
and Bob has the longest putt on the entire property.
Yep. And
I just cannot believe that happened, dude. I cannot believe that happened.
Gets it to a good point, and I think, like, I know that Scotty was, like, you know, the best teammate all week and everything, but, like, it has to be at some point, like, emotionally draining. And I don't think Russell Henley is a bad player. But if you're Scotty Scheffler and, like, you are in dire straits in this match and you hit the perfect shot on 17 and then the guy just doesn't even give it a chance, doesn't even hit the hole, like, that would mess with me mentally to the point where, like, I don't know, best player in the world has a wedge in his hand on 18, which is not a hard hole, and just completely flubs it. Like, I don't...
Yeah.
I was standing to the left of that green, and the pin was tucked right, and he hit it, and it was going right. I was like, oh, this is totally going to bend back. Like, this is fine. Like, he's in the right spot. And then it keeps on going, and I'm like, oh, that's right. Like, that's not coming back the direction that you need it to. And then it hops right, and I go, oh, that is trouble down there. And I turn around, and Scotty's mom is right behind me in the corner, like, left of the green. And she's just there, like, mouth hanging open, like, I can't believe what I just saw, kind of thing. And I was like, oh, so, like, everybody's on the same page. Nobody knows what's going on anymore.
Well, what do you think it is with Scotty? I'm not vicking anything, but I had a lot of people being like, Scotty top point scorer is only plus 500. Like, this is a lock. And I'm like, guys, he didn't win a match in Rome. Tiger was a terrible Ryder Cup player. Like, there's a precedent for this. Like, it's not like he lost a decky in Sunday singles at the President's Cup. Like, I got a VPN. You can arrest me. Listen to Sky Sports. It was unbelievable. And they always say everything so elegantly. And he says, sometimes the best hunters prefer to hunt alone. It's just different with, there's not going to, I know Patrick wasn't great, but if you're a top player, you play well for Team Europe. And for whatever reason, Scotty and Tiger, they're really good at 72-hole stroke play events. And it's just a different animal at the Ryder Cup. It's like 8 sprints. And it's not a marathon, which these tour events are. I mean, is Scotty going to turn it around at a dare?
You would think so, right? To, like, some extent. Like, he's obviously not going to... He didn't play well. Like, let's just put that out there, period. Like, you would think with variance, like, he's going to regress back to the mean of playing better no matter what. Like, I don't think it's impossible. I don't think we're going to be in a spot in 2 years where it's on the board that Scotty goes 0-5. I don't think that's going to happen. However, I do think it's an interesting conversation to have and figuring out why. I think the setup was not helpful for Scotty.
Russ Henley, like, just not having Ryder Cup experience, a guy who auto qualified.
I mean, yeah, it's weird to have a 36-year-old Ryder Cup rookie, I guess, to an extent. But like, I don't know, man. Like, Russell Henley, not a course fit, right? I'll give you that. 100%.
I mean, it was Bay Hill, which was kind of, but that was like firm and fast, and you had to hit the fairways.
Yeah.
And it wasn't fucking like that this week.
Not a course fit. Doesn't hit the ball particularly high. Like, okay, I get that. Russell Henley needed to be on the team, but not a course fit. That's fine. But like the rookie thing, like I know that was something that Keegan had harped on going into the event. Like, gotta be honest, I don't really care that JJ Spawn hasn't done this before. Like, I really don't care. It does not
Rookies
matter.
have been good.
Yeah, just doesn't matter to me. Like, you can put him out there. Cam Young obviously showed that he deserved to be out there. Like, I think when the rookies have the statistical profiles of some of these guys, that like, I think the rookie thing is overblown. I agree. I don't
At home, I agree. Again, Max Homa played 5. In Rome, and he was fine. And rookies have historically been really well. Hunter Mahan, my best friend, was leading point scorer at Valhalla in 2008. I want to apologize on behalf of Long Island fans for Saturday afternoon. That was really not called for. It definitely crossed the line. I think that, this event is not the Waste Management Phoenix Open, but when you talk about fan atmosphere, what are Americans going to do other than, chant USA? They don't have the fucking Olay chant.
Oh, we need songs. Yeah.
What makes, what is a 22-year-old drunk kid going to do to add to the atmosphere at Bethpage if they're playing like shit? They're going to get drunk and just scream the most vile stuff at Rory. And I don't think this happens at Shinnecock. This doesn't happen at the Travelers. I don't think it's an East Coast problem, but it's an East Coast problem at the Ryder Cup when the atmosphere is supposed to mean something. None of those people that yelled anything would ever yell that at the U.S. Open or at the Travelers or at Aronimink. They wouldn't do it. But for some reason, the Ryder Cup has been marketed into that it's okay to do that.
Yeah.
And it's just a shame. Like, it's just straight up a shame. And I don't think the ticket prices had anything. I don't think it had much to do with it. From my experience being on Long Island, being in the Long Island Golf Junkies group, everyone that wanted to go to the Ryder Cup that was local went. Like, did you really have anybody that you knew that like didn't go or didn't come upon a ticket or didn't get a free ticket? The Long Island Junkie, like Andy was saying, like the people that play Bethpage Black weren't even there. I'm like, dude, Long Island is rich as fuck. Like the surrounding area, like you have the disposable income to go or know somebody with tickets. Where are you on the tickets being to blame for these, 22-year-old frat guys, making a scene?
No, I don't think so at all. Like you said, I think as time went on, as like you were monitoring the markets or anything, like things became certainly more attainable than maybe they were expected to be, and that didn't help things, I'm sure. I just don't think I don't know. Like I think the Ryder Cup is set up obviously as like a team sports event where there is an enemy and there is like an adversary, enemy in quotes, obviously not a real enemy, but you are like rooting against an entity, whereas in like a stroke play event, you are, I don't know if you're outwardly like rooting against it.
Yeah.
Like, did the crowd turn on Brooks when he made 4 straight bogeys and sucked on Sunday? Like, yeah,
yes.
That absurdly happened. Like, that no doubt happened. It happened because the number 1 player in the world was in the group ahead of him and was coming in second place in the tournament, and people just wanted carnage.
And there was nothing to root for all week because it was a blowout.
No, and I think if it was some rando that was not Dustin Johnson, I don't think that would have happened the way it happened. Like, I think the combination of it being a competition for the first time all week and the competition being between, the two best players in the world, that's who both happen to be American. I think that's where you saw that happen. Now, in a team sporting event, I don't know. We're watching a Yankees-Red Sox playoff game right now.
What happened?
You think Red Sox are up 2-1. I don't actually know how we got here, but this is a perfect excuse. Not an excuse. I don't want to make any excuses because what happened was horrible, right? It was not good. It's not befitting of golf. It's not befitting of Long Island. It should not have happened. It should have put a stop multiple times. Everybody's got to be better, right? When you provide people a direct adversary, people are going to lose their minds and take it. And especially when it's the United States against something else, people are going to take that to another level that was not previously there before. And I think you saw that happen.
And Saturday afternoon is the worst because people are there early and they're drinking.
Yeah.
And then there's a 2-hour break. And then a group comes through and it's this is my only shot to see golf. This is it.
I think Andy made a great point too that people yelling at Rory on 14, 15, 16, 17 on Saturday afternoon. You've been out there for 8 hours drinking.
Saw no golf.
B, you're not coming back tomorrow, and it's the 16th hole. So you're just thinking, I got to get mine while I can here. And again, some of the things that were said were absolutely abhorrent. You cannot even comprehend any of that being allowed in any situation. But when you give people only 4 chances to see action and they've been out there in the sun, it was 90 degrees and they're drinking all day, people are going to lose their minds, and I wish it didn't happen.
Yeah, I agree 100%. It sucks. And again, it was 99. It was 0.5% of the crowd, but that's all it takes because it gets silent in golf and they're walking close to you, and that's just the matter of fact. And I really don't think there were any issues Friday or Sunday that were really that bad. I think Friday and Sunday, if Saturday was like that, I don't think it would be that big of a story. Now, do European journalists want to make it seem like they were fearing for their life? Yes, sure, that's okay, whatever. But it was not great, and all it takes is a couple bad apples, and that's kind of reflective of society and what happens.
And then the people that are using it now, posting the videos of themselves calling Rory and Shane whatever they want, and using that for clicks. What are you doing? It's one thing to do it, but then it's another thing to record it and post it and think that makes you look good in any capacity. But hey, Rory put a European flag over Bryson's name on the walkway, so it's all even, right?
I'm not there. I'm not there on that, unfortunately. It sucks, and they're not going to bring a Ryder Cup back here. That's fine. Will it be this bad at the PGA? Absolutely not. For the women, it's fine. You could have golf at Bethpage, but I think a Ryder Cup was a lot. I mean, it just was a lot, and it was really bad for an afternoon, and that's what, it'll be remembered for, unfortunately. But I think we know our peers, and, I hope it's not a reflection on us. Sunday, where were you when everything was unfolding? Because I got my buddy went early. We're on the first tee. It was an awesome atmosphere. The MC wasn't bad. They were playing good music. Saw the first 5 groups.
Seemed like the vibes were a lot better on Sunday morning.
Chill vibes, was a good time. And then I got into a suite off 1, and there's 2 massive TVs just playing Sky Sports, free food, free booze. And I'm like, all right, I'm going to chill here. I saw some stuff on 11, kind of got caught up in the Rory group, and then went right back to the suite. And that's when everything happened. And it was a sick atmosphere. Even though we weren't outside, you could see every single shot. Everyone was going insane in there. And it was so sick because the Ryder Cup could have been over an hour and a half earlier. They only needed 2.5 points. And if it was the way it was the first match, Cam and Rose were tied. Tommy and JT were tied, and Fitz was up. And if that played out like that, the Ryder Cup legitimately would have been
Well, that's what
over.
Shane was saying. Somebody asked Shane, like, when you woke up this morning, did you think you were going to have the winning putt? He was like, no, God, no. How could anybody have expected that?
No, it was electric, and that made it. Where did Shane? Yes, Shane went out 8th.
Yeah, he went out
7th.
8th. He went out low. I walked with Rasmus and Ben Griffin all day.
I heard about that. What were the vibes?
There were no vibes. There were quite literally no vibes. No fanfare. Obviously, you had pockets like around 1 and 9 green. They had a club, and like 9, 10, 11, 12 was like the meat of the spectators, I would say, because you had a lot of hospitality. You had a lot of grandstands. Like, even like thinking entering the week as somebody who knows the golf course, I was like, oh my God, like 10, 11 is going to be desolate because it is the farthest away from civilization as you could possibly get. And I was like, nobody's going out there. I was like, I'm not going out to 11T. What do I have to go out to 11T for? Sure enough, 9, 10, 11 was just hopping. Like all week, there were tons of people.
Because both ways you could go to the road both converge there. Like if you went by 2 or you went by 14, you both kind of ended up
in that kind of landing area. So like that was hot. But the lean part of the course, like 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, no vibes at all. 0 vibes for the Griffin and Højgaard match, as you probably could imagine. Like
did people clear out? Like at what people cleared out? Like on 2? Like how many people were watching them on 3? Tee off on 3 fans.
There were enough around 2 green because 2 green was kind of like a congregation point. But I remember we were walking on it must have been 7 fairway. I was walking up the left side of the fairway. They had just teed off, and I looked around and I was like, boy, there's nobody out here. Like, there's just nothing going on. And so the Ryder Cup,
and there was still some golf behind them.
Like Hatton went out late, and somebody else, but Henley was a group ahead of them. So like
Bob Mack and Sam Burns were the last match.
So there were things going on, like in the general atmosphere, and things hadn't completely turned yet. So like it was okay. Like it was not a well played match for sure. Like there were a couple birdies.
I heard reports that Rasmus hit it in the water on 8.
Oh boy, can I confirm that?
We need footage.
There is actually footage on the Sky Sports Ryder Cup extended highlights. There is a 6.5-minute video of extended highlights for the Griffin Højgaard match. And Lamagna texted me that last night, being like, go watch the Cam highlights, because he walked with Cam. And I had it on my phone, but I didn't really see it closely. I was stunned that after spending 4 hours with Rasmus and Ben Griffin, that they got 6.5 minutes out of it. Sure enough, though, the footage of 8 is in there. Rasmus hits it in the water on 8. When I say he cleared the water by like 2 inches, like hits the bank and immediately goes in. Ben has the honors after making birdie on 7 to even the match. Step up to 18, goes in the water with the worst shot anybody's hit all week. Ben Griffin needs to hit the green to win the hole. He blows it right on the hill again for the second time in 2 rounds and almost or basically smokes a person. I couldn't tell if it actually hit somebody on the side of the hill, but it certainly looked like it did. And won the hole with a 4.
Sick.
Which hit like a bad chip coming off the hill, which I know from experience, not an easy place to hit a chip from.
No.
So hits a bad chip and then wins with a 4. Things kind of started picking up in that.
There was a moment on what hole did Ben make a long one and then Rasmus made
12,
it on top?
12. That was electric. That was incredible. Like
Like
absolutely
it
incredible.
was like Rory Reed at Hazeltine.
Yeah, it was right back and forth. Ben had missed a shorty on 11 to lose the hole. Like missed like a 4-footer, hit it so hard that lipped out and ended up just as far away from the hole as he started on like the other side. And then to come back and go birdie there was incredible. Um, and then the thing on 15 was just like ridiculous. Like it took over 25 minutes. We were on that hole for over a half hour. Rasmus needed 20 minutes to take a drop from hitting an
Left or right?
impossibly left, like past all of the hospitality. I believe I couldn't entirely see, but I from my knowledge, I believe he hit it into like that food services area left
Okay.
of 15, like over the fence. So then had to take it unplayable and made a 6. Ben Griffin is short of the green, also hit a bad drive into the rough, is short of the green in 2, and is waiting on the green for 20 minutes for this
Won
unplayable
the hole, though.
situation. Yeah, won the hole.
Sick.
Won the hole. That's when, like, there's a ton of red on the board. Lowry and Henley are on 17. Like, Henley just hit that shot. That was like the 5 minutes where I was like, oh my God, this is like happening. This is Griffin is up. Keegan comes out of nowhere, literally out of nowhere. I turn my head. There's Keegan. He's running up. He's giving Ben Griffin a hug. I was like, oh my God, like this is happening. We get down to the 16 fairway. Rory, Fitz, Rose, all the guys come out, and they're all with Rasmus, like giving him support. And I was like, oh.
Did the people in the crowds know what was going on?
The people on 15 green when Ben Griffin won that hole, that was the loudest I had heard anything all week. I think they kind of knew.
Sick.
I think they knew that every port was going to matter at that point, and going 1 up on 15 was like super important. So that was
sucks. It sucks. What could have been.
That was an incredible following. What I mean, the joke was when we were going through like who's following what. Like if it was going to be 19-9, like what happens in the one match that literally nobody cares about, and nobody cared about it anyway, but it ended up being like every point mattered kind of thing, which nobody could have foreseen.
Yeah, it sucks. It sucks because the U.S. could have won this Ryder Cup. I don't even think, regardless of anything, like, that Europe was in a tough spot on Sunday singles, and they got motivated somehow on Sunday night to play great, and that happened. So if it was just, I know it's easy to say, if it was just a little bit closer, U.S. could have had one of the most electric wins ever, which sucks. We've given a lot of props to Europe. I mean, they were unbelievable. The execution, the captain, the players. They were just unbelievable all week, and they came prepared, which a lot of away teams straight up have not done recently. I want to talk about, which I think is most interesting, is where do you think the USA team goes from here? They are very likely going to lose 3 straight Ryder Cups, which hasn't happened since the early 2000s, which, I mean, for the amount of Ryder Cups they play, like, that's not really that crazy. They simply do not have a captain that is obvious and that they should pick or that they think want to do it. They blew the home field advantage with the course. The PGA of America seems to be completely inept to use this event for anything other than profitability. And their top guys don't seem to perform well in the event. So where do you think the USA team realistically goes from here?
Feels like it's going to be Tiger. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. Like, if you want to go, like, how do we maximum motivation? Like, you look at that 2019 P Cup, and, like, that was pretty cool, right? Like, everybody was super into that. Like, the players clearly got up.
They almost lost
for Tiger. Yeah, they honestly they should have lost, but like that, I guess, is like a use case of what Tiger can be. You're not going to have like the weird Patrick Reed like repeatedly cheating, kind of marring that whole 3-week stretch at least. So like that's fine. I don't know if Tiger's a good thing or not. I think it'll motivate the players maybe more, just being like, we can't disappoint Tiger. I think there will be, not that they didn't want it to disappoint
Yeah.
Keegan Bradley, but like, this is a different beast. Come on now.
Yeah. I mean, to me, the difference, a lot of it comes down to is that Europe has history in this event. There is no history in this event for the U.S. team to look back on. What is the history? There
We
were no
actually
European
just
fans.
talked about that on
There were
Shotgun.
there were no fans at Whistling Straits. Rafa Cabrera Breo and Chris and Andy Sullivan were on the 2016 team. They blew Medina with an amazing team. 2008 is great to look back on, but none of the guys on the team or the captain have anything to do with the Ryder Cup anymore.
Mm-hmm.
They got their doors blown off at Oakland Hills. They have Brookline to look back on, sure, but when the two biggest American golf figures, one blew up the entire sport because of gambling debt, and the other one was terrible in the event and never played well in it and doesn't seem super interested, or is going to devote his entire life to it because he's got a ton going on. They just have a lost generation of Ryder Cup, where Europe has the complete opposite of that.
Yeah, like they're 4-11 in the last 15. Like, nobody's played well. It's kind of the story. Like, there's nothing to write home about. Like, and a lot of people have made the comp to USA Basketball, like the Greece debacle, and they lost FIBA in the mid 2000s there, and kind of reset the tone for 2008, and bringing in the Colangelos, bringing in Mike Krzyzewski, and I don't know if that's gonna work, because I don't know how the PGA of America would handle that kind of thing. Like, they have John Wood. Whatever John Wood is allegedly going to do or not do, already was kind of putting out feelers on Saturday night, saying that, like, oh, this is a learning experience for me, and I'm going to be better next time. Like, I'm just getting the lay of the land. When he was hired, the narrative was like, oh, John Wood's going to win us the Ryder Cup. And then by Saturday night, it was like, nah, I'm going to win us the next one. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
So I guess give that the benefit of the doubt. I guess give Tiger the benefit of the doubt. Obviously, they are most likely going to lose in 2 years, and that should not be a surprise to anybody. But maybe use it as a testing ground. Acknowledge maybe internally that the odds are severely against you, and use it as a proving ground to maybe try some stuff, try some new pods, try some new strategies, try some new players, get aggressive with picks that could benefit you in 2029. Maybe
where
I'm not
are you
saying
at?
raise the white flag, because you can't do that. But, like, there are years where football teams know they're not going to win a lot of games.
Yeah.
And it makes them better in the long run.
I saw a good take from Golf Ramble, who I love, who's a very smart guy. He said, just give it to Brandt Snedeker and hope that he's a good President's Cup captain, and at least have that continuity. Because there is something to Luke Donald being a home and then away captain, and that helped them immensely.
Yep.
And when you have a new captain that's doing this all for the first time on the road, that's really tough to do. And that's why I think the home team dominated for a while. And that was just, I know it's obvious, but like, that was just hearing Paul McGinley be like, well, we had to look on why we lost Ryder Cup set away in the past, and it's because we had a new captain. So let's just make Luke the captain again. And just like, yeah, dude, like, that makes a ton of sense. And I think I never expected this. If you told me at the beginning of the week that an overwhelming take would be like, yeah, the President's Cup is actually bad for Team America.
Yeah, how about that?
That's a sick take, and I never thought about it or thought that it would be a thing, but it is. I mean, it is, because Europe has 2 years to build up to this thing, and America just beats up on Mackenzie Hughes and Taylor Pendrith every other year, and they get a false sense of security on what the teams can be. I think they got to find a way to connect the President's Cup and the Ryder Cup, because it's hurting them. Like, there's no doubt about it. Who who said, was it on your pod that I don't think it was on Shotgun, but someone made the point that America has, it was I'm horrible podcasting right now, but I can't remember. Someone said America has not won an away Ryder Cup since the President's Cup started.
Johnson Wagner, Friday Golf Podcast.
I thought I was getting it confused.
You're getting the Andy pods confused. Yeah.
I figured it was right. I was like, yeah, fuck yeah. Like, that makes a ton of sense. Like, that is an absolute issue. And I think that, is a detriment, and they got to find a way to make it work together. I don't think Tiger would be a bad captain. I don't think he's the answer, but
I thought Andy also made a great point on that Johnson pod. I don't mean to toot our own horns, but I thought it was maybe the best podcast we've done all year. So
it was great.
Listen to that if you haven't yet.
But I shouted it out. So
I think that if you're the PGA of America, Tiger's going to do this one time.
You think there's no chance he does home and away?
I think Tiger's going to do this once. And if you're the PGA of America, do you want to hand that bag to the DP World Tour?
Yeah.
I'd be interested. But if I feel like whenever Tiger says I'm doing it, that's the answer. And if he wants to do it for his friend JP McManus, then sorry guys, that's the answer. Hope you figure it out on the weekend.
Yeah, it's not great. I mean, I genuinely think basically everybody will be on that European team in 2 years, other than maybe Rose and Højgaard. And I
don't know. I think Rasmus is a nice player. Obviously struggled this week, but would not seem to. But would not be stunned to see him improve, keep going. Yeah. That's what we said about Bob McIntyre last time, right? Everybody's like, "Oh, this is embarrassing." Bob McIntyre is having his hand held by Justin Rose and is this scared tiny little baby, and Bob McIntyre is currently one of the 12 best players in the world.
Yeah, it's hard to. I'm never going to predict Ryder Cup teams 2 years out, and I genuinely think that this Keegan stuff, they're not going to make Rose the captain.
No. 1,000%.
Now they're kind of in a tough spot because once, if they're going to do the real 4-year term and it's going to be Francesco and then he's going to get Hazeltine, after that, it's there are going to be a ton of dudes that should be captain and are waiting to be captain. And that's going to cause some issues. I'm not, it's not going to be actually an issue, but
I don't know if you see multiple 4 years. Maybe they do. Maybe they just say
that's interesting to me.
Maybe they just say, we had a perfect storm, right? We had a guy who had never lost as a player. It was I think he's now second in winning percentage to now Tommy Fleetwood in European history. An all-time great Ryder Cup legend who devoted his life to this for 4 years, and it worked and it was perfect. Maybe that was just a perfect storm. You had the same exact team as last time, everything set up perfectly, and you have this infrastructure now that, I don't know, how is it any different? If Luke Donald didn't do it this year, it would have been Francesco Molinari, probably. How is that any different? You're just going to keep moving down the list. Rose, Lowry.
They have history to build on.
I think you look at the one in Spain, which is 2031 now after Hazeltine, I have a feeling that I think Sergio might get back in here a little bit, and that could set that up. They got guys to the point where I think you just accept this as a perfect storm and hold this as your pinnacle forever, and now you kind of just go back to normal.
I think that makes more sense, and that's the way it should be. It's almost not fair to a certain extent.
Well, that's what I got into this fight on Sunday night when they were 2 more years. That against the spirit of the competition. I even think 4 years is against the spirit of the competition. But I'll give you one cycle, home and away. I'll give you that. 6 years, get out of here. Get a job.
No chance.
Go away.
It's not fair. It's not fair. How much blame are you putting on Keegan this week?
I think the setup screwed them. Like,
100%.
and
I
if,
don't.
he is accepting responsibility for that, whether it was actually his fault or not, but he has accepted the responsibility. So all I can do is put it on him.
I thought they were like, well, Valhalla, that's what we did, and it was sick. So like,
Yeah,
let's
Valhalla,
just do it
the
this week.
team was longer than the European team, and that mattered. Like, and
I
again,
don't even, again, we talked about this. I know you're not a fucking groundskeeper. I don't understand. It didn't even rain that much Thursday. I don't understand how the greens were that slow. They must have watered them as well. It makes no sense to me. Like,
well, I mean, Bethpage historically not a place that drains well.
Okay.
Not it's that there. Anytime it rains, I feel like they cancel tee times for the day.
Yeah, that's fair. I think they're pretty good about it. And I don't know. I don't understand how the greens couldn't have been faster. Like, it didn't rain that much. Like, it just didn't. Like, I don't. It was been so dry here. Like, I'm playing Colonial Springs tomorrow, and I'm sure those things are going to be ripping.
Oh yeah.
I just it's a bit upsetting because it was a huge own goal. It just never should have happened. It didn't need to happen, and it really fucked them at the end of the day. I am, I'm happy it was at Bethpage. It ruined my golf, my public golf this year, but like, I guess
I tried to explain that to so many people that just like, hey, the place that does like 200 rounds a day, all those people have to find somewhere else to go now.
It's not great. But I'm excited. This would have been the absolute perfect year to just do a junior membership at Colonial or Woodside Club. Like, that was that was a big miss by me. I regret that heavily, but it's okay. It's fine. I think I'm more happy that it ended close versus being a blowout.
Yeah.
But it hurts. I mean, it hurts that we could have won this, and it was a fun week. There was some good content.
It was a great week. It was awesome to have the golf world converge here. I just, from a selfish like Long Island standpoint, I feel bad that a lot of people's lasting impressions of this is A, the Americans lost, and B, the fans were out of control. And both of those things are true, and that's just something we're gonna have to live with for the rest of our lives.
It's just a 3-day exhibition, man.
Yeah.
We have friends and family that love us. That's what's important. That's kind of where I'm
can't
at
harp on it. Can't take it personally.
No.
Am I sad? Sure, but it happens. Can't win them all.
PJ, you're a great guy. You're a great friend. You're a great podcaster. Love Friday. You guys are killing it. Hold
on, we're not doing Sanderson locks. Who's your Sanderson lock?
I'm betting Rico Hoey and Max
Okay,
Homa.
good.
Am I
Great.
betting Max Homa because he shot 61 in the Grand Horvat, breaking 50? Yeah, I am. Like,
I heard Max Homa was in town last week. I don't have this confirmed cold. I wish I did, but I heard he was hanging out in downtown Northport on Saturday after doing.
Who do you like at Sandy?
Oh, Rico Hoey. It's not even a bit. Like, that's
the last 2 years. Terrible putters, good ball strikers have won. So
he's not a terrible putter anymore. He's got a broom.
Yeah. So I'm feel pretty good about it. Card will be out tomorrow morning. Am I putting a lot of effort into it? No, I'm not. But it's okay. PJ, thanks again. It was a great time. It's nice to be back podcasting, and we'll talk soon. We have to play some golf before the year.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for having me. This was a blast. I'm glad everybody got to see Bethpage on TV. Even though it's not the Bethpage.
Of course, sucked, and the team sucked, and the fans sucked. It was still at Bethpage. So
we got that.
We'll take it. All right, we'll see. I don't know when we'll see everybody next. I don't know if I'm doing a Bay Current Classic pod, but should be.
Colin Morikawa is gonna win. Come on.
Yeah, I think that might be, if you ask the most casual. What percentage of people, if you said what PGA Tour event is the Bay Current Classic, would know?
Like 10?
Yeah,
maybe?
It's tough. I'm proud to be one of that 10%, to be honest.
I don't know if I am, but I'm right there with you.
Yeah. All right. We'll see everybody soon. Go Yankees. I'm going to have to deal with my dad tonight. I'm not happy about it, but hopefully they come back. We'll see you when we see you. Everyone have a great night. Thanks again, PJ.
Yeah, of course.